Well, it's a holiday for me. It's not a holiday for my guest today. So I have a day of nothing. He has a busy day. Welcome to Stuff It, a fantasy basketball podcast. Talking with Josh Lloyd today about some mid-round fantasy targets, players that he likes. I'll just remind you today's episode brought to you by Fantrax, brought to you by FanDuel and part of the Old Man Squad network. And Josh, thank you for squeezing me in on a Monday morning. Like I said, I have zero to do today, but you're a busy man.
From what I've been told, Kingy, you're not that difficult to squeeze in, so I'm happy to easily accommodate you.
I am very easy to squeeze in. There's not much to me, and you're looking fit and healthy there as well. I haven't seen you for a couple of 3 months. I think it's pretty much 3 months since I saw you in Vegas. So you're looking well.
I'm doing all right. Yeah, dropped a bit of weight since I saw you. Then I was halfway there when I saw you, and then a bit of American food got to me a little bit over those couple of weeks. But we're back in business now.
Yeah, they don't miss you with the portion sizes over there.
That's all right. That's what I go there for, mate. I'm signed up for that. Like, I know that it's happening. It's like, all right, I will have 30 beers and 20 tacos, and I know what I'm about. I know what the story is when I'm there, and then we deal with it afterwards. That's
right. And I saw you popped something up on Twitter the other day. You have lost like 16 kilos, I think.
Yeah,
you said. Have you
16 kilos since April? Yeah, look, I'm trying to get down another 7 or so, down to about 85 kilos, which is around, it's about 200 pounds, 190 pounds maybe total. Yep. I think. What the hell is 85 pounds in 85 kilos in pounds? Let's have a look. Because it's around maybe 190. I don't know. Let's have a look. 100. Yeah, 187. Yeah.
Okay. 190. Yep. Okay.
So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, and so obviously, I mean, going to America doesn't help with that. But so you've been out and about. Are you exercising, playing some sport? I know your son's very into baseball. Are you joining him on the pitch?
I'm not, Kingy. Unlike you, or like you and unlike you, I have a torn ACL, but unlike you, I did not get surgery on that, and it's really bothering me. So I'm actually heading to figure out a surgery date for next year, I think, because it's just it's becoming a problem. So not allowing me to really work out much at all, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay. So you opted to not have the surgery. Was that just
I didn't know about it?
Choice? Oh, you didn't know about it. Okay.
I didn't. I knew that I'd hurt my knee, right? And I went, oh shit, that feels like an ACL, right? And then I was struggling and I couldn't move, and the next day it was still really sore. Then it sort of faded and went, maybe it's fine. Like, whatever. It's okay. Nothing really. And then it just kept going. This is just not getting better. Then I went to see the doctor eventually. But this is after 8 or 9 months. I went, oh yeah, you tore it. And now it's all calcified and barely hanging on. And it's like, you can go have a surgery now, or you can try and rehab it. But I said, I'd rather not have the surgery if I could avoid it. But I think I'm going to have to go get it done. So it wasn't like I had it, the opportunity when it was fresh to get it done. I didn't know, and I was just a bit too stubborn to go and get it checked out when it happened, because it was right before the start of the NBA season 2 years ago. So it was in the middle of August 22, I'm going to say. Well, maybe 23, one of those ones. It might have been 23, middle of August. No, 22, middle of August in 22 it was. And if I had have gone and it was surgery, then I would have been, struggling to work and get ready for the preseason ramp up and all that sort of stuff. So I went, it'll be fine. And it wasn't fine. So that's cool.
Yeah. Oh, well, get ready for 2 or 3 months of not exercising.
I've prepared for the last 10, 15 years for that. So I think we'll be good.
Yep. As long as you live in Melbourne, the public transport's pretty good down there. So I have to rely on my wife to get me around, because public transport here in Canberra is terrible if you can't drive.
Yeah, well, I don't have to leave the house all that much, so that's a good thing. True. But also, where I am, the public transport is not particularly strong.
Okay, all right. Oh well, you'll be relying on others then if you need to get out and about. All right, we're going to talk about some players. Just very quickly, I know we're very early in the preseason. We're only 3 days in so far, and I'm assuming the answer is no, but people have been asking me, any takeaways from the games we've seen? The only one for me, really, is that Mitchell Robinson started for New York. Now, I know Josh Hart was out, so we don't know exactly.
Josh Hart wasn't out. Josh Hart played. He played off the bench.
Oh, he did play, did he? I thought
he got hurt. he got hurt after about 8 minutes, and then he got ejected because there was no foul call on the play he got hurt on. But Anunoby was out in game 1, and they started Daddier instead of Hart, and Hart came off the bench, and then he got hurt.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you want to take it back to your question, or what surprised me, it didn't surprise me. I thought that would happen, and Jovic starting over Kalel Ware, it's sort of what my expectation was, and Tari Eason not starting, and Jabari Smith being a starter in Houston, they were my expectations. So it is good to get confirmation of that. There isn't something where I've gone, hey, what? That's weird. What's going on there?
Yeah,
I think this is happening today. I'm going to be very interested, Kingy, to see what the Hornets do. Like, are they going to run the big cock out there? Is Ryan Kalkbrenner going to start? Because I'm leaning towards them doing that. I think they might just go for it. Him and the big Areola. We might see Knipple and Kalkbrenner out there starting, and that will be not what I originally thought, but I've been starting to push towards that a little bit lately.
Yeah, I certainly hope they do. It's very un-Charlotte-like to make a decision like that. Plumlee is there.
They went really slow on Miller and on Williams. Like Williams was third string until about January in his rookie season. Miller came off the bench until in the injury to Gordon Hayward, I think it was, and that got him into the lineup. So we'll see what they do, but I believe they're playing today.
They're playing right now.
Well, there you go. We can do a live check. Can you what's the status? Who started?
They're playing the Thunder, who are not rolling out their big names. So I looked at the pictures of their starting players, and I sort of thought, well, yeah, there's no one there that I really care about.
Oh, it hasn't actually tipped. It's supposed to have tipped off 8 minutes ago, so we know that it hasn't started yet.
No, it hasn't. I don't know if they've announced the starters over on.
I don't see them. I don't see any listing anywhere yet.
No. Okay. All right. Well, we'll check in.
We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's jump in. So, yeah, mid-round targets. So I sort of put a number range on it, 50 to 100 or 50 to 90. That sort of range. I thought we'd just go through 5 or 6 players that you're high on, have a bit of a discussion, and then I'll let you continue about your day. So, who's your first player?
If you're looking at that area of a draft, I guess there's a lot of different ways to approach it, and so much of what we do in fantasy drafts it's based a lot, Kingy, on what you've done sort of in earlier picks, as you're aware, right? And we're consistently seeing things shuffle and adjust across the sites with rankings adjustments, and we know that ADPs will follow on from this. But one of the ones that hasn't really adjusted enough, I think, in that area is Jakob Poeltl, who's hovering around that 80 mark, and I don't really know why it's that low. Like it seems incredibly low for someone who's going to be the starter, who is going to play, I guess 30 minutes, whose backup is just under Momokulis, really. I guess I don't really understand why he's just consistently sitting there. Like I'd be happy to take him 60s, 50s. Like I don't know why he's sitting that. Like it's not quite the same, but it's giving him very much the like, why is Ivica Zubats going to pick 100 last season when there's no one behind him? Like it's giving a little bit of that to me, because I'm pretty sure Poeltl was better than this last season, and I don't really know why that would be changing.
Do you think it's? I guess with Toronto last year, they obviously had some injuries, and then down the stretch they were resting players and playing every second game. And but you're right. Poeltl had a really nice season. He was, just looking at numbers here, 9-cat on Basketball Monster. He was the 44th ranked player last year, but only played 57 games, which was sort of a side effect of what they were doing in Toronto. Do you think that's maybe a sort of a concern when people see him sitting there in that sort of 50, 60 range? Do they want to take someone?
I don't get that. Like, why would that be the case when you're talking about a pick that's actually pretty late, but no one's applying that same logic to Scotty Barnes, who's going like way higher? And if that actually is the worry, like taking someone like that in round 2 or round 3, that kills you. If you actually think that's going to happen, that's what kills you. Not getting a center like in round 7. Like even if you pick him in the 60s, right? Who cares? Like if they do that again, which I don't think they will, right? I don't like that was all of these things. It's very easy to just crop dust over with a surface level view, or a sky high view, and go, tank last year, so I guess that means every season from now it's going to be the same story. That's just not how this shit works. Like none of this stuff works that way, because it was a very unique circumstance. They got the early injuries too quickly. they were in a situation where they were very close with a couple of other teams pushed down that thing where they didn't expect to be. Now, this season, they might start out 20-10. I've got no idea. So they will be like, all right, let's do this. Maybe they fall down a little bit lower and they're in a situation where they are looking to push to sit guys down. But they also told us last year, this is not about winning. They didn't say that this season. They made a trade for Brandon Ingram. There's nothing to suggest that what happened last year happens this year. So that mindset is why this is a good value pick to me. He might get hurt. I got no idea. But the logic behind that, but still investing a high pick in Scotty Barnes, who was worse than that draft pick last season, just that doesn't add up to me.
No, and his ADP at the moment, Yahoo 82, Fantrax 67. I think both of those numbers are too low.
67's fine, right? But
67's okay,
right, you can go higher than that if you want.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to think where I've taken him. I mean, I punt weird punts, so yeah, values shift a lot for me. But I think I see. I'm with you there on Toronto. Like, I just think that it was a bad situation and not something we typically see from them anyway. Who's the second player on your list?
I don't know if I'm ready to do this one, but let's talk about it, because Mark Williams sits at 89 at the moment. I know why he's falling this low.
Yeah,
I know why, but again, if you're taking someone here, like who cares? Like who cares? If he plays 40 games, which I don't think he will, they're obviously going very cautious with him at the moment, right? But there was an article yesterday, I think, said about that he's going to be there ready opening night. He played 30 plus minutes down the stretch for the Hornets. He was like, I'll say conservatively, a top 30 player during that stretch. Nick Richards is garbage. Come Malawach is a rookie. Like, maybe he doesn't play 30 minutes. Maybe he goes at 27 a night. But like, there's a lot of like risk baked into this draft pick. Where you can be a little worried about it, but your worry, as soon as you're pushing outside the 60s, like your worry should just be sort of flittering off, man. Like, it doesn't matter, because if he gets to 30 minutes a night, if he plays 60 games, if he is available in your fantasy playoffs, well, we always talk about it. Well, I do anyway, Kingy, about finding, hey, who's the guy that's going to just jump up 50 spots? That's him. He's right there. Like, and if it doesn't work, that's cool. Like, if he's hurt, whatever. I didn't waste my first, second, third, fourth, fifth pick on it. I did it later. And if it works, well, then you're flying.
Yeah. And I do, like you said, it's finding people in this range, in this anywhere after pick 60 that have 2 rounds of value, 3 rounds of potential value. It's hard. And you get into the hundreds, it gets a bit easier. But I do think Mark Williams is one of those players, and seems to be a bit of a glut of centers in this range, this 60, 70, 80 range. And he's one of those. Poeltl's one of those. And
then they all disappear after that.
They do, yes. So there's a lot of names there. Moussa Diabate, he started at center for Charlotte, so there you go.
Sick, awesome. So they started Knipple though instead of Sexton.
They did. Yep,
that's good.
Yep. So we will see what that means. But anyway, name number 3.
Does that mean you're going to draft Diabate?
Me personally, or just in general, should we be drafting him?
You can give both answers, King. It's your show.
I won't be drafting him.
Nor will I.
No,
he's just like, what's the point? Like 10 rebounds, 2 points, 1 steal.
Yeah.
Plus,
stream him in on a Saturday if you just need some rebounds, and they've got a back-to-back or something like that.
The Hornets are a team where they do love giving them shitty schedules, so you'll get like a 4-game in 6-night period just to really wear them out, and then maybe that's the way to go. But like, he's a backup level center that they just giving a little bit of it, I guess, organizational fluffing to, because he was there last season. But I don't think that's going to really stick, to be honest.
And sometimes you have, when you're looking at these sort of potential starting fives and you go, where does this guy fit in the offensive pecking order? Diabate is pretty clearly number 5.
He's going to be getting the Thibodeau center usage, the 6%.
Yeah, pretty low. So yeah, don't run out and grab him if he's sitting on your waivers and you've drafted. Name number 3.
I'm not going to waste your time by telling you that I think Asar Thompson's still too low at 77, because I know that you know that, and I know that you've spoken about that, but I'll just give a +1 on that. I think that there is top 50 upside here for Asar. It was silly that he was outside the top 100. There's still risk, obviously, because JB might just, actually show his true feelings and not play him
Yeah.
the big minutes due to the shooting concerns versus the lying of last season. But we'll see what he does there. But still, I think at 77, we are in a situation where it is still a little bit of value in that at that point. This area of the draft is a little weird to me, because when you look at the rankings on Yahoo in this area, especially with some of the adjustments, some of the guys that I'd like to take here normally used to be like outside the top 100. Now they've moved 30, 40 spots to be in the area that I do like, drafting them. So it does make it a little bit more difficult. I think when we're looking at someone, this is one that, again, this will be maybe a little controversial, but Brandon Miller sits at number 50.
Mm-hmm.
I think he beats that pretty easily, to be honest. Now, obviously, the Hornets are going to be bad, but he's not like the wrist injury last season is not an ongoing concern to me. I think he beats that number, and I don't even like Brandon Miller, but I think he beats that number pretty comfortably, like as comfortable as you can be for a guy that's in the first 3 rounds or 4 rounds or something. But
yeah.
I don't think there's really that much risk in him at that area. I was targeting him round 4 anyway before they adjusted his rank to this spot. So I think that's looking not bad there, especially when we're getting out to the top 50 and scorers are starting to sort of dwindle.
Yeah, I'm a little bit like you. I guess I'm not a huge fan of Brandon Miller and haven't been, but I think the situation and the injury doesn't concern me at all. I'm reasonably high on him. I think I've taken him in a couple of drafts in that range, in that sort of 4th, 5th round, and that's where I'm seeing him go. And you're not really going to find many players in this range that can push into being a top 15 player or anything like that. So you're just looking for any value possible, and he's one of those. We'll get into your next name very quickly. Just remind everyone, sponsored by FanDuel this episode. And I've talked about most improved player. I've talked about a range of awards and winners and things like that over on FanDuel. Rookie of the Year is one that I haven't. So I just thought I'd get some thoughts from you. Now, Cooper Flagg is the pretty clear favourite to win Rookie of the Year at the moment. Outside of Cooper Flagg, who do you think, any sort of tips from you, hot tips on rookies who are positioned to maybe challenge for that title based on their role and opportunity and the team's trajectory, that sort of thing?
Well, thanks to FanDuel, I am known for giving out my tip a bit, but no, why would no? Like, okay, who else is going to challenge? Like Dylan Harper? No. Like, I love Dylan Harper, but no. Like, who is possibly in that stratosphere? Knipple? I don't think so. Ace Bailey? Like, yeah, probably shoots 33% from the field. Like, I don't see how to me, it's like it's akin to looking at the Wembanyama Rookie of the Year draft class. Oh, I could see this. No, you can't. Like, you can't. It's going to require a weird injury to happen, and then it's going to be a wide open field, because how many rookies, King, are you going to start opening night? Like, there's not going to be that many of them. Like, it's going to be Knipple. It's probably going to be Bailey. Harper, sort of touch and go, I think. Like, if Fox is going to miss the opener, which he is, then Harper probably does start, but he probably wouldn't have otherwise. And then there's probably one other missing, like maybe with Yegor Yoman injured in Brooklyn, maybe Ben Saraf is in that spot. I believe he had a pretty big role today in a non-NBA preseason game. But I don't know. There's just no one who's really close to it to me.
Yeah, I think another one potentially is Edgecombe. I guess, and if
he'll start.
If Philly get a lot of injuries, which, I mean, who knows what happens there, but I guess for me, he is someone that maybe he just ends up playing 33 minutes a night because Philly are bad. And
that's the thing, is you have to make that argument. Go, well, maybe he can get to 33 a night, but like Flagg's just going to play 33 a night. Like, he's just going to do that. And like, we could say, well, he might play 36 a night. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no like, oh, but you got to watch for Quentin Grimes and you got to see what Jared McCain does, which again, I think Edgecombe is starting there. But like with Flagg, it's like, is it Cooper Flagg or Najee Marshall? Like, all right, cool. I think we figured that one out.
Yeah, that's not really a discussion. So anyway, you can head over to FanDuel and get those bets on. We're only about 2 weeks now from the start of the regular season, so time is running out. Name number, well, we've sort of done 4 names if we count Asar Thompson as one of the names, but who's your next player?
I'm going to go right on the edge of the top 50 again, one spot behind Brandon Miller. I think Austin Reeves at 51 still has a little bit of value there in him. To me, he's been a third round guy most of the way through and hasn't changed for me. And yeah, he's sitting at 51. So you can get, if you're in the top of round 5 and you've got maybe a round 3 guy there who also has the upside to do more if one of LeBron or Luka misses time. I don't really see a problem with that pick. To me, that makes a lot of sense as a target area there. Like, you're not going to find a guy usually in the 50s who's a first round player. Like, that's not likely to happen, right? But give me a solid top 40 guy outside the top 50. That's a win to me. That's accumulation of value.
So I did a short video on him, a bit of a profile spotlight kind of thing, and had a couple of people sent me messages afterwards, just sort of saying, why are we high on Reeves when Luka is healthy and fit, LeBron is still there, like at 8, they've added 8, and I mean, I know my answer, but in terms of like, why are we looking at him as not a breakout, but someone we can go, oh yeah, he's a fairly safe top 50, top 40 player when there's all these other options around him? So I guess just what are your thoughts there in terms of justifying him as a top 40, potentially a top 30 player who you can get in the fifth round, let's say fifth round?
Well, he did it last season. Like, I'm not sure what the confusion is. Over the last 16 games, he averaged 25, 5, and 5.5, and LeBron and Luka were playing. Okay. Like, he's not going to shoot at that level, right? Like, he's not going to shoot at that level, but they just said, all right, we know who is, like, Rui Hachimura, thank you for your time. Stand there and just get out of the way, right? It's LeBron, it's Luka, it's Reeves. We're cycling these guys through. They're all run like DeAndre Ayton, good. That's good, man. Also, just get out of the way. But look, these guys, we saw it. He won't be at a 52% shooter. I'm going to guess. So I'm pretty sure he won't do that. He shot 42 on his threes and 63 on his twos. Like, there's going to be drop off there. But when you're coming from 25, 5, and 5.5, like, if he goes to 19, 5, 5.5, I still like him in round 3. So, like, why? It's not like we're expecting a big jump up, because I had concerns when those guys came across, and I said, oh, okay, they're just going to work things out, so it doesn't actually matter. And this is not a situation because Luka was wasn't there and he was hurt. Like, I'm talking about games that they played together. Like, yeah, there were moments where sometimes he took a backseat, but also, how much do you want to trust Kingy of LeBron and his like irritated ass at the moment, like, to play enough games or be there all the time to be a consistent hindrance to what Reeves is doing? I don't know. I just think that it seems, I don't know if it's safe, but it feels safe. I don't know.
I think it feels safe. And like you said, I think we did see it last year, and people will, that's sort of the concern is, all this talent around him. But if you look at, as you said, that last 16 games, but even go back further, the last 2 months, the last 3 months, he was better during those periods than he was if you look at the season as a whole. So you could argue that he did more, got better looks at the basket, all sorts of things once all that talent was around him. And I'm not worried about DeAndre Ayton at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that worried about that. And also, like, at the start of the season, they were like going back and forward on him and D'Angelo Russell, and JJ Redick was trying to figure out what he was doing. He went, nah, this is not it. Like, Reeves is it. So, like, let's actually figure out how to do this. And like, he did. And I thought it worked out really well. Like, again, maybe he just completely drops off and he's a 16-point-a-game scorer. I don't think that's the case. But, like, I guess there is a small risk of it. I'm not really that worried about it, to be honest.
Next player, what are we've done 5. You got one more for me?
Oh, look, I think a lot of these ones in the 80s to 100s, they're ones that I don't really like in this area. So, like, Jalen Suggs sits there. Like, that's a no from me. Like, Norman Powers looks like he's pushed a little bit too high. There's no one that massively, honestly, it sort of stands out as much as I would have liked in this area of the draft as much anymore after some of these adjustments. I'm more likely to look at some of the guys that have pushed outside the top. Can I do a cheeky one and give you Alex Sarr at 105? Like, to me, that's amazing to me. Like, I know he was bad with his shooting last season, but everything else I was pretty encouraged with. And he played 27 minutes a night. So, like, let's just give him 5 more minimum, I would think. And I'm pretty okay with that. And, like, outside the top 100, I think this is a top 75-ish guy. So, yeah, to me, he's a guy that's between 50 and 100. Yeah, who doesn't believe that at this point? But I do think that might be adjusted at some point again.
So you mentioned earlier when we were talking about Poeltl, Mark Williams, that once those centers go off the board in that 60, 70 range, it gets pretty tough to find productive centers who can actually be positive contributors. Saar is one of those guys. Just some, I guess, a couple of names down in that range who, I don't know, they raised some questions for me. Zach Eady, Donovan Clingan, who were obviously 2 rookies last year. Where do you sort of see them this season? Because I go back and forwards just in terms of the way that the NBA is going with the less traditional big men. If you go back 20, 30 years, obviously your big men who didn't shoot threes and just banged inside. These players, I mean, they can stretch the floor, Edie, Clingan, to some degree, but they're more of your traditional centers who just protect the rim and hang around inside the key. Do you see those guys that kind of, I mean, maybe this is a broader topic or a broader discussion, but do you see those kind of centers continuing to sort of phase out, or do we see a comeback of these sorts of centers who don't necessarily stretch the floor as much? Yeah, I don't know. It's just an interesting crossroads, I think.
We're going to see, I think, something pretty interesting with Houston this season and the pressure they're putting on with using Adams and Şengün together. And you'll see a couple of teams try to emulate that. Overall, I do agree with you because also, like, Clingan's big, right? But he's an offensive oaf. Like, he's sort of not really where he needs to be. His hands are pretty poor. But we're talking about it for this season, King. Like, if Edie wasn't hurt, to me, he's a top 60 player this season. But like you, I don't like the long-term potential here. If I was Portland and if I was Memphis, and especially if I was Portland, because I don't have to even think this, because they already know that they traded up or they traded to get another center at pick 16 this year after spending pick 7 on him, because they don't believe that Clingan is the center of the future, and rightfully so. Also, I don't believe Young Hun Sen is the center of the future either. But they weren't necessarily showing the biggest amount of confidence in what Clingan could do, and I think that's fine. But in terms of the value, separating the value ideas of players this season versus what their long-term future in the game is, sometimes those things are tied together. But in these two situations, I don't think they are. No. Because Young's not going to be ready. And in Memphis, when Edie comes back, which is annoying that he's not there, they don't really have another guy that they're going to put out there, like in that position. Like, it's not going to, Jock Landale's not going to be stealing that role away. Like, I think ideally they'd want a better fit overall, but that's great, but it doesn't matter for this season because that player's not around. Like, so if you're talking longer term, when these sort of things happen, when you see players who have success on bad teams or weird fits just because of circumstances, if you're talking dynasty leagues, that's when you try and capitalize on that sort of stuff. But for this season, I don't really care. Like, Clingan's going to start. I don't think he can be a 30-minute night player every night, but I think Edie would have been had he not been hurt. And providing enough value for them. I don't like getting Clingan. I do like getting Edie quite late, but I'm a bit tempered with the absence to begin the year.
And one more center, and I'm only going to ask this one because we've had a recent sort of injury update, not to him, but to his counterpart, Derek Lively in Dallas. So where are you on him long term? Because I'm a little bit higher on him, and there's obviously Gafford is still he's a proven NBA caliber center. So this is a bit of a different situation because he does have a player behind him or alongside him that can play meaningful minutes. But do you think, because I get questions about him as well, like who's going to start? And Gafford's obviously got a bit of an injury at the moment, but to me, Lively is pretty clearly the guy that they want to prioritize.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question in that. And nearly any time that Gafford is given the starting job, it's because of injury. And then you see him phase out. And it happens a lot. Like, it's very easy to look back at numbers from previous seasons and say, well, he averaged this many minutes and he averaged this. And that's all well and good. But, like, there was a period, and this happened, there's another one of those names that's not a center, which I might just quickly mention. But, like, we had a scenario where Gafford was playing 18 minutes a night, Lively was playing 28. And he went, all right, sorted. And then injuries happened, and then they have to switch that stuff up. And then, but that is the direction they continually want to push. And I don't know that that's how they'll start up because Lively's coming off ankle surgery as well. But if Gafford's not there and Lively is there, then Lively will play 26 or 27 and Gafford will come in slowly and he probably won't get to 25 minutes. I wouldn't have thought. The only way that he seemed to have done that in most of these scenarios is through a Lively injury or a Lively ramp up or whatever. There has been some moments when Gafford would start over him, which was that weird one straight after the trade when they thought, there was back and forward on that, but then there was again injuries complicating that. So to me, the indications for them has always been Lively will be the guy. But when you just look at broad stroke overview numbers and starts, it makes you think that they're continually doing a minute split. And I don't believe that is what they want to do. It's just that they have every time it's like a false start that has to bring them back. And the other one I wanted to mention was last season, we know how big of a success Christian Brown was last season. Like no one thought about him at draft time, really. He was great. I didn't think that it was real. I really doubted him. He lost his starting spot in January. He lost his spot to Russell Westbrook and he played 28 minutes. I'm like, okay, it's done. And then Westbrook got hurt like a day later. And Brown came back in and started playing 36 minutes a night again, and it was over. And now that's sort of, but they also said, this is not working. See you later, Christian Brown. Like move to the bench and your role is done. But injury saved him, moved back in, and now there's really no risk of him losing that spot. So there's always these weird things that when you're looking at overviews of the season, like how opportunities arise or what did happen, like was the faith always there? Like it seems like it was, but it also wasn't because he literally lost the spot during the year. And there is a little bit of that with the Lively Gafford stuff about Gafford losing his spot to Lively and then gaining it back through injury. And it's definitely not clear, but I do think that Lively is what they prefer. But in saying that, to get to fantasy for this year, which I think most people care about, I think Lively probably needs 27 a night to actually be a useful fantasy guy versus just being a back-end player. And given that PJ and Anthony Davis and Gafford and all those guys are there, I don't know if he does that.
Yeah, I don't think he has he doesn't have that 30-minute ceiling yet, I don't think. Not maybe in a year, 2 years, who knows? But yeah, where we currently stand, I do think, and that is potentially why people are a bit hesitant to draft him because his ADP at the moment is well outside the top 100.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to let you get about things and have a coffee and do whatever you need to do. I mean, people know where to find you, but if there is anyone that doesn't, tell people where to find you. What's on the agenda for you? Any big changes coming this season? Any new sort of specific content?
I don't think so. Oh, that's not true. I don't know because I haven't. I'm more just planning preseason shows, mocks, that sort of stuff there. I will have to sit down and look at what changes in season. I've got a couple of ideas, but I don't know what they're going to be yet. Or I don't know how they're going to be executed, but there'll be some small tweaks, I'm guessing, to some of the stuff.
And we will have industry pickup starting soon, I would assume. I mean, we're running out of time. So, yes, we'll be doing those drafts soon, and we'll be tweeting out. You're still you're doing the auction league again?
Yeah, unless someone desperately wants that one, I will be in that one.
Yes, I'll be in that one too, hopefully. So we'll let people know. Locked On Fantasy Bowl, can people that's sort of up and running now, isn't it? Drafts are going.
Yeah, we've got a couple of spots left in one of the points league ones at the moment. I think that's probably it at the moment that's available.
Yeah, and you're doing the draft and stash leagues, which because I heard you talking about them, and they're I mean they're not a new format necessarily, but I guess a format for those people that don't necessarily have the time to invest into a range of changes throughout the season and that sort of thing. It's sort of just this is your squad and that's it.
Yeah, and you set your lineup twice a week and that's it. That's really all that is. So that's there's the two different formats. You can do the points league one where you don't do anything with lineups all season, or there's the one with the next step up in involvement, I guess, where it's just draft a big roster and just set a lineup twice a week and be done with it.
Yep. So if you don't have as much time as we do, then lots of options out there for you. Thanks again for jumping on. I assume we'll be doing mailbag shows at some point during the regular season, and then jumping on and off each other's shows from time to time. Thank you everyone for tuning in. More content coming your way. I'm Adam King. He's Josh Lloyd. This has been Stuff It, a fantasy basketball content podcast. Content. We're done.